Hi Virgo, welcome to my channel, The Fool's Journey Tarot. This is a general love reading for the sign of Virgo for this upcoming week in March. If there's anything that you're curious about regarding my reading or the video, please check out the description box below. I do want to remind all of my viewers that this is a general love reading, so it can apply to just about anything, relationships, work situations, family situations, you name it. Also be flexible with the energy. You may feel like I'm reading for you, but you could also potentially feel like you're cross-watching for somebody that you're dealing with. You can interchange the roles within the reading. In other words, you might be represented by any of the characters that shows up in the cards. My intention is always to reach those that need the message the most and those that will benefit the most from the message. Okay, Virgo? So we're going to get started. Let's finish up this one last shuffle and give the cards a cut, and we'll see what's going on with Virgo for this upcoming week in March. Here we go. We're starting off with the King of Wands in reverse. And he's paired with the Hanged Man in reverse. Five of Cups. The Tower in reverse. Temperance in reverse. The Hierophant in reverse. The Six of Swords. And the Six of Cups. So we have King of Wands in reverse in your underlying energy. Virgo, this could be you or somebody that you're dealing with. The King of Wands in reverse is somebody who, under normal circumstances, could be somebody who's in a position of power, like a boss, or someone who has authority over others, someone who normally would be looked at as a leader of sorts. In reverse, this could be somebody who's abusing his position of power, or it could be somebody who's given up his power, or who refuses to act in a manner that he's expected to in that type of position. The King of Wands in reverse could potentially be somebody who's dealing with anger issues, or somebody who's feeling insecure or about taking on some responsibility, or incapable performing duties or fulfilling expectations. Again, this could represent you or somebody that you're dealing with, Virgo. There's some grief surrounding a situation or possibly this relationship, and I do believe this has to do with the relationship. We have Six of Cups out here. Six of Swords could indicate moving past a difficult situation or moving on. Temperance in reverse. Looks like there's some imbalance or a need to heal for sure with the Five of Cups out here. Let's get some more cards out here for you, Virgo, and see what else we have. So the King is represented or clarified by the Justice in reverse. And then we have the King of Swords. Ten of Swords. Page of Swords. Five of Wands in reverse. The Six of Cups in reverse. The King of Cups in reverse. And the Five of Swords in reverse. So this King of Wands in reverse is dealing with some kind of ending, and I do believe that You might be coming to terms with the idea that it was because of some actions or actions that either he took or actions that he didn't take. He may have not taken responsibility for something that has gone wrong or some imbalance within a relationship. I do believe that this King of Swords either represents this king's higher self or represents somebody that he is confiding in. The King of Swords is all about law and order, justice, communicating right from wrong. This could be somebody who actually works in law enforcement or a judge, somebody of that nature. This person can also be a figure who's in a position of authority. And I believe this person has either communicated to or has kind of helped this King of Wands realize a level of responsibility regarding some disruption or even an ending to a significant relationship. So again, Virgo, this can represent you or somebody that you're dealing with. This person is dealing with some significant grief and heartache surrounding an ending, and it feels like it was a very harsh ending. Again, it feels like there might be a level of responsibility bearing down on this King of Wands, that he might be coming to terms with the fact that he caused some conflict or some imbalance within this relationship. Now we have the Six of Cups out here twice, once in the upright and once in the reverse. So I feel like this king is dealing with an ending or a disruption within a relationship that's extremely significant to him. The Six of Cups can indicate soulmate material, somebody that you're meant to spend time with in this life. You're meant to experience some life lessons with this individual. Soulmate, a soulmate does not have to be a lifelong partner or a romantic partner. It's just somebody significant to you. Somebody that you might have a soul contract with. I feel like this king is also this King of Cups, and I feel like there's this level, this detachment. Maybe a lack of willingness to accept responsibility or feeling emotionally detached from this relationship currently or how this relationship has affected him. He might be ignoring his emotions or refusing to acknowledge emotions. But in order to leave behind this conflict or resolve things, this king needs to come to terms with his side of his contribution to whatever went wrong within the situation. This does not necessarily have to be a romantic relationship that he is dealing with, although it could be. It's definitely causing him a significant amount of grief. This could potentially be a relationship with a child, with the page out here. He may have received recently some communication from this individual. With Justice in reverse and the King of Swords in this underlying energy, this could be a legal issue that this King of Wands is dealing with, something that did not go in his favor. It's possible this could potentially, especially with the Hierophant in reverse out here as well, this could indicate a divorce situation where maybe there is, I'm just throwing some examples out there. This does not have to necessarily be your story. I'm just giving some examples. But with the Hierophant in reverse, Justice in reverse, this could indicate a divorce situation where there's a custody battle. And there's been some conflict regarding that. Let's get some more cards out here for you, Virgo. So we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. And the Tower again in reverse. Ten of Swords again in reverse. The Fool in reverse. Ace of Swords. Nine of Wands. Five of Pentacles in reverse. And the World in reverse. So at this point in time, this King of Wands is not budging from his stance, from his position. I feel like he's in a stagnant situation, feeling very unwilling to compromise. And honestly, I feel like that's what's causing the problems more than anything. That's probably why there's no resolution, or there's a certain level of grief that, at least currently, this king feels like he's stuck in. There's this desire to move on and have some peace. Maybe regain what was lost. But in order to do that, this king needs to get out of the shadow energy. And there's a level of emotional disconnect and lack of willingness to accept responsibility going on here. That's keeping him in this state of stagnation. I have to say, again, Virgo, this is the main energy in this reading. So this can represent you, or this can represent somebody that you're dealing with. But again, I feel like there's this desire to move on, or have some peace, or regain what was lost. But right now, there is this intense energy of refusing to budge, refusing to compromise, refusing to accept some kind of responsibility. And what that's resulting in is a stagnation in this Five of Cups energy, where there is seemingly an end to the grief, but then it starts over again. It feels really harsh, Virgo, if I'm being honest. And again, I don't know if this is you or somebody you're dealing with, but someone is bound and determined to stand their ground and fight until the bitter end, even if it means sacrifice. Sacrifice of relationships, sacrifice of integrity. The sacrifice of acceptance of responsibility. I do feel like this king has, again, this King of Swords could be his higher self, could be a friend, could be a lawyer, or someone who's counseling him in some way, who's trying to help him get unstuck from the situation. Could be a family member that he's confiding in. So he has someone on his side trying to work with him. But with this Knight of Pentacles, again, I keep looking at this, and this is not very pleasant energy to be sitting in. And with the Knight of Pentacles, this indicates stagnation, no movement, somebody who's unwilling to budge, a lack of growth spiritually, a lack of ability to see the value that this negative experience has in one's life. Because let's face it, we all face crappy shit like this, but if you look at it from a different perspective and you try to gain some understanding of why it occurred in your life, and then accept your responsibility in how you react to a situation, or what your part was that you played within the situation, and you start to see it from a different perspective, you can work through the Five of Cups grief energy, this Ten of Swords, and start to see why this experience was important in your life and why it will ultimately have some value for you. Because if you come to terms with what's occurred, you can avoid this kind of situation in the future, because you have an understanding of why it happened in the first place and what part you played in the situation. But right now, this King of Wands is not doing that. So we have the Seven of Wands. There he is, being very defensive about his stance, his position, his point of view. And there's the King of Swords trying to help him see and gain some insight, some answers. Queen of Cups. Knight of Pentacles. The Chariot. Ten of Cups. The King of Pentacles in reverse. And the Knight of Cups. So I think the King of Pentacles is also representing this King of Wands. So he's got the King of Wands, King of Cups, King of Pentacles in reverse. And I feel like this person is feeling very self-protective, trying to probably save face. Maybe feeling a bit put out by the hardships that this person has been dealing with because of this ending. And I do believe it's an ending with the Queen of Cups. I think this is the person that this King of Wands is dealing with. I do feel like there's children involved. We've got the pages out here. I mean, it could be a situation where children is involved. I'm not going to say definitively it is. You know, the story will be different for everybody, but I feel like this queen, I think that there's still love here. But this queen right now may feel like the ending is inevitable, because I think that she's feeling insecure about resolving any issues with this King of Wands. She may have tried in the past to communicate or to offer some kind of resolution. But again, this King of Wands is not budging in his stance. He is hell-bent on making sure that he defends his position, whether it feels just or not. He feels wronged, and he feels like he has to protect himself. There is a sense, too, that one or both of the parties, and I do feel like it's probably this King of Wands, is feeling like this disconnect is what needs to happen in order to move on from the situation. there's still potential here. This is what's interesting to me, because I think that this king is trying to move on. I do believe that he's got that intent of moving past this and getting out of the situation. But it feels like there's still potential here. With the Six of Cups and the Knight of Cups, both in the upright position, the World in reverse, that this is not closed out yet. This is not a done deal. Like there's this glimmer of hope to move past this conflict, get out of the situation, and maybe fix things. But it is going to depend on whether or not this king can recover from the situation and come to terms with it. There might still be some hope. This Queen of Cups, I think, feels like she is willing to try. She's in the upright position. I think that there's still loyalty here. There's still some love in this relationship. And again, I don't know. This feels like it's a romance. This feels like it could be a broken marriage to me, or a legal separation between two people who have a significant relationship, one of longevity. Again, one where there could be children involved. But there's this glimmer of hope, even in all of this doom and gloom, that I'm feeling most heavily on this king side. So we have Five of Pentacles this time in the upright position. Ace of Cups. Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Seven of Swords in reverse. Two of Cups in reverse. Six of Wands in reverse. Four of Cups. And the Five of Cups again. Okay, so this king is dwelling in some significant grief right now. If this queen is showing any ounce of hope or love or loyalty towards this king, he's not seeing it. He doesn't feel like there's anything left, including any love. But it's not this queen's place to do the work right now, because this king has some things to work on, some shadow energy to work through, if there is any hope left to recover in this situation. There is this level of feeling like there is potential for things to be made right, especially with regard to other people involved, if this does include children. But there's definitely a hesitancy or even an unwillingness by this Queen of Cups to initiate some kind of reconciliation, communication, something of that sort. But I do believe that it would be possible if this king was willing or capable of, which I don't know that he is right now. He's not seeing what potential there is to save this right now, because in this current time he's dwelling in some really hard shadow energy, and he's still fighting. He's still defending his position. He's still fighting for himself. I think he's trying to salvage what he has left for himself. Maybe trying to save face. This king may know what level of responsibility he had within this downfall of this connection, and he's just not willing to admit it or accept that level of responsibility. I mean, you know, it's hard to accept being someone who's made mistakes significant enough to cause this kind of hurt and demise of a connection or a relationship, especially if this is a family dynamic, if there's children involved, and a relationship of longevity that has come to an end because of one person's irresponsible behavior. I'm going to take this card, Virgo. We have King of Earth. King of Earth is the King of Pentacles, and he showed up in the upright. I am going to read this out of the book, although typically the kings and queens in this deck have very similar meanings to the traditional Rider-Waite. But you might get something more out of this if I read it out of the book, because they do have significantly detailed meanings. Okay, King of Earth. It's just about a page. So I do feel like this represents this king who has come out. The only thing that's not come out in reverse is this King of Swords. And again, this King of Swords could also represent this individual, you or the person that you're dealing with, Virgo. King of Swords could represent this person's higher self, this person coming to terms. And anyway, let me go ahead and read this to you and let's see how it resonates for you. Here we go. The King of Earth is a very satisfied man, and he has every reason to be. Everything he touches turns to gold. His kingdom is secure and wealthy, and his people are happy and prosperous. While some may consider that his circumstances are born of luck, he is a natural leader, and his success is born of hard work and dedication. He is proud of his accomplishments and is not afraid to acknowledge them and, more importantly, to enjoy them. However, despite any appearance of excess, he is very grounded and realistic and enjoys abundance because he is wise and careful. The King of Earth is not afraid to be open or candid because he has no insecurities or emotional baggage, to feed doubts and fears. He is only too willing to share in his success and gives advice and guidance without hesitation when asked. He does not fear that doing so will give rise to a competitor or rival. He believes that everyone is entitled to the same opportunities. He is clear-minded and reliable, someone you can trust and depend on. He is also wise and intelligent, and these factors keep him at the forefront of all that he does. On a business level, some may see him as boring and pedantic, but his methods are sound. He has found a process that works for him and one that pays dividends. Why change what yields results? If his methods fail and he's willing to change, but if the methods work, then change is not required and is an unnecessary waste of time and energy. He is not one to try and fix that which is not broken. The King of Earth may appear in your reading to tell you that it is okay to rejoice in your successes. All too often we are made to feel that taking pride in our success equates to being boastful. This can lead to feelings of guilt and a decision to stay silent. While you can choose your moments and be respectful of others' feelings, the King of Earth suggests that you have every right to celebrate your achievements and take pride in your accomplishments. If you have the resources and means to enjoy yourself, then do so. There is no need to ask for anyone's permission or blessing. This is, after all, why you have worked so hard. The King of Earth may also symbolize a need to take a methodical approach that you know will work for you. At this time, do not deviate or take a chance on trying something new. Do not allow the opinions of others to sway you either. Instead, trust in your usual process, especially if it has always worked for you in the past. So I think this can indicate the energy that this king has embodied in the past, and right now that is lacking. And I think he's trying to regain that. I think that he's being challenged through possibly having to leave behind something that he felt very strongly about, whether it be a relationship or connection that he felt secure about. And I think he's trying to regain a certain sense of control and regain probably what he once had. If you are this person, Virgo, I do feel like you are dealing with a lot of heartache and grief, and something that's going to be very difficult to work through. But remember, all heartache, all hardships, everything that we go through in life can ultimately benefit us in the long run if we accept that it's a life lesson that is meant to occur in our lives so that we can grow as people, as spiritual beings. And I don't know whether this is something that you care about or not if you are this king, but there is hope here. And there is a potential to regain a connection that was once lost. However, you're going to have to leave some conflict behind, accept some responsibility, and be the one to do the work. Because this queen, I think, has either made the effort or is unwilling to, or is feeling a lack of confidence regarding her position in this situation. So I'm going to leave this here, Virgo. I hope that this reading gave you some insight, helped you out in some way, confirmed some feelings, helps you move forward in whatever way that looks like for you. If it did resonate, please give me a like, share, subscribe, leave a comment if you want to tell your story. I always appreciate that. So I do appreciate you joining me today. I hope that you come back again soon. Bye, Virgo. Take care.